The Puppy. Making Fiends was an unfortunately short-lived Nicktoon based on a web animation created by Amy Winfrey. The show is about a girl named Charlotte moving to a town that's terrorized by another girl who, you guessed it, makes creatures called fiends, which is the German word meaning enemy. In addition to the 18 segments aired on TV, there were also 6 promotional shorts averaging roughly 30 seconds in length, that were hosted on the Turbonik website. Since the demise of Turbonik, and with the show being treated horribly by Nickelodeon, the promotional shorts quietly went away. Thankfully, all except one of them have been found. The one lost short, entitled The Puppy, only has 10 seconds of very low quality footage with no audio available.
Your wardrobe.
Yeah.
That's all I'm saying.
But I am in good hands,
Because when
right?
the money runs dry, oh, you'll wish for that sport jacket.
Oh.
Are you enjoying yourself?
I am. It's a little different. It's a transition.
Right.
But it's going well.
The Daily Show Craig Kilborn episodes. The Daily Show is one of those shows that has a very storied history, and with that often comes some amount of lost media. Many people don't know the show had an original host before Jon Stewart. SportsCenter anchor Craig Kilborn actually hosted from the beginning of the show through 1998. The show's ratings didn't really take off until Jon Stewart was on, and as such, Comedy Central hasn't done a good job preserving anything before Jon Stewart. Only a handful of the over 300 episodes with Craig Kilborn are fully found, with a couple of them being partially found, including the one I just showed where Kilborn actually interviews Jon Stewart. Since most of the episodes since the beginning of Jon Stewart's tenure have been available on Comedy Central's website, this seems to be only lost due to selective preservation.
Right, is Mr. Smith going out of his tree?
He will be an ordinary orangutan again by the end of the week.
Unless Ellie can save him from going ape.
Mr. Smith. This show was a rather unique sitcom in 1983, and probably still would be if it were made today. The titular character is an orangutan who becomes an advisor to the president, which is the premise of the show. Apparently it gets explained away by the orangutan having an IQ of 256, but still, audiences had a hard time buying the premise, and generally thought the jokes got old pretty quickly. As such, the show wasn't remembered very fondly. The series was cancelled after 13 episodes, and had no home media releases. And by the time the internet became a part of common use, not enough people recorded it when it was on for it to be preserved fully. 6 full episodes exist currently, with bits and pieces of a few other episodes floating around. As well as this, all that survived of the unaired pilot to this show was the script. Eddie Retractorhead. As far as British cartoons go, it seems that they took a lot longer than the States to get rid of the gross-out trend. Eddie Retractorhead is an example of this. According to the Lost Media Wiki, the series is about a blob of mucus named Eddie falling from space and landing on a pie, and a tractor who lives in an inflatable pie at Area 52 with his friend, an orange blob named Lamb Blob. As you can tell, the series thrived on stupid and random humor, and mercifully, the episodes are only about a minute in length. Currently, 6 of the 10 shorts have been found, with the other 4 probably being out there somewhere. Because of the relative obscurity, Nickelodeon UK likely won't make an official release, meaning recordings are the best hope of finding these shorts. Lord of the Rings 1978 deleted scenes. For those of you that don't know, The Lord of the Rings actually had a film made in the 1970s, which ultimately wasn't successful and the planned sequel never saw the light of day. However, even within the released film, there were quite a few deleted scenes which today are considered lost. The original ending is the only one of these scenes to not be lost, and it was ultimately changed in subsequent releases to be a better cliffhanger, as the part 2 during the production of the film was expected to come to fruition. It's estimated that roughly 12 minutes of animation was deleted from the movie, though it's unknown if this counts the scenes that were deleted in the storyboard phase. The actual amount of time could have been a lot more. Ultimately, a lot of the lost scenes can be attributed to studio meddling, which, due to the film's low budget, crippled production. Needle Mouse. This game, as you can see from the concept art, was heavily inspired by Sonic the Hedgehog. And yeah, it looks a lawsuit level similar to Sonic. However, this wasn't the reason for its cancellation, or at least it wasn't the entire reason. Development began in 2009, and later on a beta release was announced. However, this beta never came out and has had seemingly no mention since the development of the game. The game was said to be on the back burner by Defective Studios in 2012, with no reason given for the game's hiatus. All that was ever shown publicly was at a few conferences, and the screenshots on the internet. No playable version was ever made publicly available, and likely never will.
Hey guys, let's have sex from a T-Rex! There's hot love on your head!
Coconut Fred's Fruit Salad Island pilot. I mentioned this pilot in episode 17, as it was an interesting case. It was a rather obscure show that aired in the mid-2000s that's only sort of known for how it ripped off SpongeBob. Footage from the unaired pilot allegedly came from 2 deleted YouTube poops. At the time, it was unknown how the YouTube pooper even managed to get the footage from the pilot, as the pilot had to be available at some point for the person to pull the footage from, right? Well, actually no. Apparently this footage was sourced from a promo for the series, which has been uncovered. Obviously it's not the full pilot and the search isn't completely finished, but this was still a monumental find.
When you're a talking coconut with the power of creation, life becomes a whole lot easier.
Now that's what I'm talking about!
For one, whatever you want.
Silly head day!
Call of Duty Black Ops 4 Campaign Mode. A few months ago, some information was leaked about Black Ops 4. The game was panned by some for not featuring a campaign mode. This actually wasn't the original plan though, and there's some evidence to suggest it got scrapped pretty late in development. There was actually quite a huge leak of concept art. According to IGN, the story would take place in 2070, and players would choose to fight for either the World United Nations or the Free People's Army. There were apparently different plot threads and possibilities for the story, resulting in small decisions having a massive impact on the ending, as well as DLC planned to be released later on. Treyarch eventually scrapped the campaign out of fear that such an ambitious project would delay the release, and as such, the concept materials are the only materials left from this game mode. Where are they now? I've discussed plenty of VH1 series on this channel because they, for some reason, have a high propensity to end up lost. And here's another example of that. Where Are They Now is a series that looks at the past celebrities of music and TV and updates on what they've done since the thing they were most famous for. The name of the series is quite ironic because the thing people are asking is, where is it now? The show had basically no home media release and was pretty much only aired during the 5-year period where new episodes were being made. That was between 1999 and 2004, and because YouTube wasn't around, the show wasn't preserved via the internet. Of the 55 episodes, only a couple are completely found, with the rest having only sporadic clips available or being lost entirely.
And an entire album side refused to be tamed.
It kept getting longer and longer and longer as time went on, and it's probably good that we recorded it when we did, because before we were finished, it was a good half hour long in our performances.
Appunto lo scotto dell'inesperienza. Le immagini stanno per partire, vi saluto, arrivederci a domenica prossima.
Yep, I'm doing another unidentified song. The haters can suck on a fat one. This song was shown on an Italian sports program and played over the outro. No one knows the title, no one knows the artist, and the best guess we have is that it was produced sometime in the 1980s. It's unknown why an Italian program would use an English song for its outro, and why it would use such an obscure one, as no record company has claimed it under Content ID for any YouTube video uploads of the song. The song is a complete mystery. No one seems to even recognize the voice singing. If you have any leads about what this could be, they're always appreciated in the comments.